Hello, Jessica.
Hello. Oh my God.
How are you doing?
Oh my God. It was so funny. Like I can't my first time recording the video was just like I was like, "Oh, I really like it." And then I'm like, "Why is it not there?" I'm like, "Where is it?" It just had this like X on it.
Oh, crap.
This new video. But I have to say, normally something like that would give me so much anxiety and like make my heart race. I felt so like calm and at peace. Like even just putting myself on the camera, I think one of the things that I'm recognizing is I was always striving for perfection. Like, oh, how do you look? How's your hair? Oh, this and that. And I'm like, you know what? That's not the reason why you're doing this. So don't even look at that. Just speak from your heart and just flow with it. And that felt nice. I'm not gonna lie though. I feel like I'm gonna get a little bit of anxiety watching it.
That's okay. One step at a time. But this is great. This is absolutely phenomenal. Like when we talk about the mindset progress over perfection, this is it in practice. So you see what the compound level of just being in proximity and talking about this every single week already
Yeah.
does without doing anything, basically.
Yeah.
Let's watch it. So I'll give you a screen share, and then
Oh, it did it not upload on? Hold on.
not yet,
Okay.
but that's okay. We can watch it on your computer now, and then afterwards, I'm able
Yeah,
to.
I had to do it from my phone to make sure it actually records. So let me just now airdrop it to my computer.
Oh, perfect.
There we go. Yeah, I used Photo Booth and that was the first time I used it. I remember one time I had to do a live LinkedIn for for the Tony Robbins for RI, and I remember using that to like kind of practice. And so I figured I was like,
Mm,
oh, let me use that. Let me make that work. And then it didn't. I don't know why.
interesting. Interesting. Sometimes I do it like just through Zoom, and then I just record myself.
That's what I was going to initially do. And then, but I know that sometimes it takes a while to load into the computer.
Correct. Yeah, that's true as
So,
well.
which I'm seeing it's taking a little bit of time to load to my computer from my phone anyway. Okay, here it goes.
It's
Okay.
Monday.
Oh, I know. There. Let me know if I have the right screen because I have like five. Can you
Yeah,
see my?
I see you. Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. So then, what I'm going to look at, like, what do you want feedback on besides just what I'm thinking? Like, is there anything specific that you would love for me to focus on if we talk about the different lenses?
Yes. So this video was not really necessarily my story. It was me speaking to you about how I'm I feel like I'm getting in my head about how to put together the story. And so what I did in this video is kind of explain a little bit of some of the stories that I'm thinking of and the direction that I want to go. So if you can give me guidance on what would you suggest based off of what I share in this video. And then
Okay.
in terms of like the video, I have a feeling one is going to be the camera angle because again, I was just shooting at last minute that I know I didn't want to look at myself in the video, but I have a feeling that the camera, my eyes were not directly at the camera.
Okay.
Because iPhones, they're like, I feel like it changes all the time. So yeah. So I guess I'll
Let's
just
watch
play
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, 12 minutes. Perfect.
Okay, so can you hear fine?
Yeah.
Two. Damn, it kind of sucks. But anyway, one of the things that I wanted to share was that I initially put this video together because you had mentioned that even if you don't have a story to tell, just putting together a 10-minute video sharing would be helpful. So basically, I I apologize this weekend. My goal was to get the video done, and do the best that I can in capturing my story. But I'm kind of getting over a cold, so this weekend I really had to take it very easy, just because work was going to be crazy this week. But one of the things that I feel like now I'm starting to get a really good understanding of what is the story I would love to tell. It's more so that I think I need a little bit of guidance on how to put together the story, um, in the time frame. So, for example, I felt like Richie's story really helped me get clarity on knowing exactly like what what to share. Um, my story from my past is something that I did not think would be helpful in, in capturing people. While it's a deep story, I just thought that there would be no way of connecting it. But then when I heard Richie's, I really felt moved by one. First off, never imagining in a million years, that that story had actually happened to him, which a lot of times I felt that people have said the same about me. And it brought this awareness of how many people out there have stories that they're afraid or they don't share because they assume that maybe people don't care about or things like that. But it can have meaning even to themselves towards the direction that they, choose to take in life. I felt that from Richie's story, that's what drove him to be successful and do what he does now, and now influencing to this place of him wanting to help others in sales strategies. And it made me see that my story can really capture, and move people and help them see that even though I went through the challenges that I went through with my upbringing, that it didn't limit me or allow me, to hold me back to the things that I desire and that I wanted to create in my life. I think I shared with you when I took you to the airport about my upbringing, but just to kind of remind you, uh, I grew up with an emotionally unstable father who, when he was 19, he worked for a gum factory. And in the year of 1976, there was a massive explosion in the company at the factory where he was working, and he was burned from head to toe. And it's been a challenging journey for him to recuperate. And during the time when I was born, um, my dad had a lot of insecurities. And so he took a lot of his frustration and anger out in me. So I was surrounded in an environment where all there was fear and scarcity, and pain. So I did not learn this until I started embarking into the personal development journey, but this essentially started to dictate the life that I was slowly heading towards, because I did not have an understanding that I was the creator of my life. I was thinking that I am the manager of my circumstances, and I was managing the circumstances that was in. One of the things is that I never had patience with myself. Um, Everything was hard because I had to teach myself everything. And everything always felt, very draining at that time. And so it wasn't until I, um, got a hold of the personal development and Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is one of my biggest role models. Um, Hearing his story when I first watched his documentary actually helped me see and understand that, you truly are the creator of your life and you don't have to choose to become the manager of circumstances. So, what is the life that you want to create? I never knew that clarity was power. And the moment that I decided to to get clear on the vision of the world that I wanted to create for myself, that's when I started to see results. It's not so much the tools and the strategies. And one of the things that Tony Robbins always talks about
is how 80% of success in anything is your mindset. Only 20% is the mechanics. Yet that's where most of us will focus on. That's where I focused on because I have a 10th grade education. I didn't even graduate high school. I never went to college. I immediately at a very young age started to go after jobs that I didn't believe I had the skills for. And so I would always just I was very good at knowing that I wanted it, didn't know like how I was gonna get to certain things, but I just knew that I always wanted it. And so I would always be willing to start at the very bottom and work my way up to the top and teach myself everything. But once I understood what Tony talks about 80% being my mindset and 80% mechanic, I mean, 80% is mindset, only 20% is mechanics. I started to challenge that in my own life and see what were areas that I really wanted to excel in. And, one was I work in the world of sales. When I first started working in sales, I was a marketing consultant for NBC, and I used to help business owners create marketing campaigns and then put together campaign plan for them, whether that's TV, digital, and um, I would always help them kind of understand how to measure the results that they were after. I didn't even realize that I was slowly applying a lot of the stuff that Tony teaches. But once I kind of got a hold of Tony's audio programs, that was the first for me. That's when I started to really apply it into my life. I got into the world of skydiving, not knowing if I was going to be great at it, but I knew that it's something that I wanted to do. It was something that would fire my soul up. And so I was committed to doing whatever it takes. And I surrounded myself with the top, the best. Rather than feeling scared to be around them, I would go to them and ask them, like, how can you help me, kind of learn? And what I ended up realizing is that my skills in skydiving for a newbie really excelled. Like I was jumping with a lot of pro skydivers and highly experienced skydivers, which is not very common with newbies um, because of the fact of their skill sets. But I would always challenge myself, and I did not hold myself to the mindset that I'm just a newbie. And so it really showed me how much I was able to excel. And so, I started to apply that even in my sales role. I started to apply that in my health and my finances. And I started to really see a major shift in growth. And it really made me recognize and see that, it's not about the time that it takes, it's about how badly you choose to decide when you're going to achieve a certain result. Because if you're committed to the result that you're after, it's only a matter of time before you get there. Because as you start applying the tools and the strategies, whatever's not working, you change it until you start seeing the result. And so that's something that I learned from my mentor, Tony Robbins, that I started to apply into my life. And now I am so grateful because I have the level of wealth that I could have only imagined. Now I'm just trying to shoot for things that I didn't even believe could be realistic. But I'm going for it because I want to continue to have the mindset of believing that if you want something, you can go after it. It's not so much that you can achieve it, it's only a matter of time. You just have to make that decision, decide of what you want and be committed to it. Even to public speaking. Um, I have always been a very shy person. I love to achieve results and everything, but I'm kind of a person who likes stays a little bit behind the scenes. And it's interesting because I worked in the media world where everybody always said like, "Oh, you should be out in front of TV," because when I talk naturally, people tell me like, "You're just amazing. You have this energy about you." I don't know. I just one couldn't ever do it. I would get shy. I'd get in my head. And even that showed me it was another level that I wanted to grow and kind of push myself past the comfort zone. So here I am right now speaking. And why? It's because one thing that I am driven to now is to help empower people out there who have dreams, who have a vision, but they just don't know how to get. I want to show them the tools and strategies, and I want to help them understand how to master that mindset. Because once you master the mindset, the rest, that's the easy part. And that's what I want to show people. So that's kind of my call to action. I just don't know what to do in terms of putting together the story. So I kind of put this video together for you, Lori, just to kind of see what you think. Um, should I share more about what I went through in my upbringing? Should I share more about my career journey and my path? Because I feel that I've accomplished so much in my career that many people probably wouldn't go after. A lot of times people ask me like, oh, how did you get those opportunities working for such and such and working for this company or this company? And I was just like, I just went after it. And a lot of times I had the fear. I didn't even believe or know that I had the skill set, but I was definitely committed. I was always committed. And I never knew if I was going to get to the result until I came to Tony Robbins. And then once I came to Tony Robbins and he showed me that if you have the mindset that you know you want something, you will get there if you're committed to getting there. Because how you get there, that becomes the easy part within time. It's about really measuring what are you doing, what are you applying, and making sure that are there patterns that, are kind of creeping in that you're not working towards bettering. So I'm looking forward to our call in a few minutes and hopefully this video records and I'm able to send it to you. Bye.
Oops.
How was that to watch back for yourself?
Actually, I'm surprised. If what didn't feel that bad. I'm starting to even get comfortable with it, you know?
Wow.
I used to cringe, like not even want to watch and hear myself. And I don't know, now I see myself like just like more proud. Like, look at you, you're speaking. Yes, there's these little details. We're gonna get better at it the more you actually like keep doing this. So like I'm actually like just patting myself in the back, like, girl, you're like you got there.
Yes, and what for you do you think made a difference?
For me, I feel like what makes the difference is honestly doing this whole speaker academy. I do think that sometimes, there is this, getting results and you don't need to do all these things. But I do believe that when you do have certain limiting beliefs, you do need to go with the best because they will quickly help you get rid of that. When you are getting advice from people who are not experts in that area, your brain also knows like, well, why are you going to trust this person, whatever, like the analytical mind can still come. And so I knew like one is, I mean, I work for Tony. I had so many people telling me and pushing me to do speaking, and then they're like, oh, I'll come and help you, and but they're just like, just get it done. And I don't think that that necessarily helped me as much, but I felt that your training programs and the way you break everything down, even knowing about Danger David, Lazy Larry, Consistent Chris, like I was like, that makes total sense. Sometimes it does take one, the commitment, but also understanding where all of this comes from. And then working with a community of people, I would say really, really helped too, because it allowed me to post the first video, which gave me an anxiety, but then seeing how everybody is like talking and nurturing, I think I needed that because I'm so hard on myself that having just people be so kind to me. And then when I watched other people and I'm like, you know what, that took a lot of courage for them to put it out there. And I was like, you know what? That made they just kind of took that away where little by little it just started to shed these little layers of get rid of this voice, get rid of that, because it's just not helping you or serving you. And it's like, you really want to do this and you want to do this for a good reason. So you'd be silly to hold on to all these like crazy limiting beliefs.
Wow. I'm so proud of you, Jessica, by doing this. You know, like I know how hard it was for you to do the first video, and now you're just creating a 12-minute. And the funniest part, because we're gonna analyze it now, you have the question at the end, like, what should I do with the stories? I'm like, boom, let's watch it again. You're doing it. You're doing it, right? So
Yeah.
I walked with you over here on the Miro board. And I'll share that with you so I can share with you how this kind of gets to the framework that we talked about. So you were able to see, like in the moment, literally, like how is the now and the new. How did I listen to what you just said, and how did I apply that onto the framework, so to speak? Does that
Mhm.
feel like helpful?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I feel like now that I watched it, it's making me see the awareness of, you know what, the more you do it, the more you'll start to see, oh, I was talking too much here, or that
Yeah.
could have been condensed a little bit more. Cause I started to see that I'm like, okay, I didn't have to go into all those details. Like I'm seeing that. I'm starting to see the point of the repetition of just putting videos versus just shooting the one expecting it to be like great.
Yeah, so good. That's why I'm like inviting so many times, like create a video, because you will see
I
the
see,
difference,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's really, really hard to it's I wouldn't say impossible, that's not a word I like to use, but it's really, really interesting to create this quote unquote perfection of different storylines, because it becomes by creating the same with speaking career, or you know, you getting on stages. It's not like one perfect script, reach out to 10 people and that's it. Like the path evolves when you're on it. You know, you get yeses
Yeah.
in ways and you're like, huh, I didn't expect it from this corner, but now we're diving in, and then it opens up. Like one of the people I
Yeah.
coached became now a prison speaker. Did he
Yeah.
ever think about it? No, but there was one prison who said yes, and then they loved it, and then they advised to more prisons, and now he's like a prison speaker. But you know, you never thought about it. So I freaking love it. So let me share my screen with you so we can analyze it together. And what I would love for to invite you, if it's realistic or not, that's what you can feel out for yourself in your schedule. But to record another one before Wednesday. So
Okay.
I will
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it. Yeah, based on this feedback, so I can watch it. So this is like really the moment where all these kind of little things come into practice, and you start to see when you're doing it before Wednesday. We're analyzing talks on Wednesday and Thursday again. You will start to directly implement it to your talk, and then you really gain momentum.
Okay.
All right. So let me do it regarding the time, and then you can see if you would agree with me on this one. So what I created for you, this is your personal speaking feedback board. So let's look at the now and the new. What I observed when I was listening to you is a big through line is it's not skill set, it's mindset. I think that's the whole through line of your whole talk. And you're not a result of your circumstances, and it's not. And then you can even list a couple of thoughts. I was hearing, I don't have time a lot, especially the other side. So I always like it to put it in the now as well, because when you say it's not about not having time, the counter effect is that first you thought you don't have enough time. So this is what I literally heard from you. Then on the new side is I'm the creator of my life. It's not about time, it's what you want plus being committed. And then basically it's about mindset, not skill sets. This is not what I'm thinking, this is what you said, right? So this is just me going through the framework and listening to the story that you said. Then the teaching point, if we look at three things, you say, okay, from the now to the new, the answer is Tony Robbins. And when I dissect Tony Robbins, is these specific three top things that I learned from Tony Robbins. Number one is I had to create a vision of my life. Two, it was mindset, and three was also mindset. Like there was no clear three yet, but if you would look through this again, you will come up with a third one. So it's just basically, because I know you can say it in one, I know you can say it in 5 points, right? Tony Robbins is, you guys ate 100 points. But now the question becomes, and that's what you want to train your mind, in order for you to go from the now to the new, what are those 3 steps that you need to take to get there? And then just pick the 3 most important ones, because what we're going to do then is, regarding the story blocks, you're going to create that story around those 3 topics. For example, in the now.
What about if I put for 3 results? Because that's kind of where I got to, is the mindset, and then, you know, it's achieving the result.
So this is really the how. So
Oh.
what is the, so basically this is where they are, this is where they want to go, and this is basically, this is the bridge. So in order to get to the bridge, it's focusing on creating a vision, it's focusing on your mindset, and then there's a third one that is the how of getting there.
Okay.
What would pop into your mind right now if you would just answer it intuitively? Because more often than not, it's so simple. I, for example, have stand up. Oh yeah, go on.
I was gonna say just taking action.
Yes, great.
Taking action in the moment.
I love it. I love it. This is perfect. So in the now, stories that I heard were I grew up with my dad, and he lived in a factory. There was fear, scarcity, and pain. I didn't finish my education, and this is what I wrote down. You said I had a lot of different jobs. What I would think of for yourself is like, what is one specific, super specific job? Have you read the book of Jamie Kern Lima, Believe It?
Have I read it? No.
She talks about that she, like, because she's now this amazing, you know, person, and she had jobs, like she had, what did she do?
She worked at Denny's, and then she worked in she was a reporter, an anchor. Yeah.
And those specific, and there was one scene in the book where she explained that she was like having really older boyfriends, and she was like this super cool chick, and I was like, this so doesn't correlate what I thought about you. So I so appreciate you for sharing this, because when you're going through this yourself, you're like, wow, I can really go for it. You know, so what is one specific job, like super specific, just like Denny's or the news reporter with the thingies, like what's one specific scene that you can say? So you don't say I had a lot of jobs, but I was working with what I could, for example, and then you can, you know, just share some topics so people can start to see it. I know it's time. Is it okay if we take a little bit more time to wrap this up?
Yeah.
I would love for you to feel accomplished. So
am I getting a copy of this little?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're gonna get the link. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically it's the what in the now are the specific topics, right? Because now if you would listen to yourself one more time, you would see that the stories are quite generic, and yet, and that's just a superpower you have, it's so captivating. I was with you all the time, and I truly believe it's the way you say it and the person you are. You are so real, you're so present that that you know, like the are you wondering if, or all those things, you don't completely somehow need for people to be involved. Imagine if you would sometimes say one of those things. So for example, and that's the lens sometimes we need to think of, is this okay, great for you, as like I'm admiring you as a speaker, or I feel you're talking to me and I can do something with it. And sometimes it can just be one sentence. So you might be wondering, what does this have to do with me? That's it. And then you're making it about them again, and then you start sharing the 3 teaching moments. And what you did so organically well is that you were weaving all those moments in while you were just sharing it to me. So I would say the next video, still do it to me.
Okay.
Just talk to me. I'm there. I will be the person watching. So just share it like you would share it, like exactly like this. Because if I would clip this and I would share it with the group, they would be like, wow, that was amazing. It really was. It really was. So, on the other side, what I was hearing is skydiving, right? When we're talking about the 3 C's, you feel your energy, and then you share skydiving. I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. It's a different piece of you, and it makes you bigger, it makes you more. So I would certainly keep it. And what you can maybe even do is, because you shared like it was about all areas, right? About health, about wealth, and then I just added relationships, because then you might, cover all those 3. When you look at, for example, an Alex Hormozi, like he created those 3 buckets, so then you have everybody again. And then it comes basically to, okay, what are the scenes of these moments? So for example, I think honestly with your dad, this could be the through line, which Richie had with the kidnap story, could be you and your dad, like kind of like that through line about everything that happened and what beliefs and what thoughts you really brought with you. So when you're talking about scarcity, what do you specifically mean? When you're talking about fear, what do you specifically mean? Bring us to those pictures in a way that feel comfortable to you. And then basically from growing up, having all those feelings, not finishing education, you now have this life where you go skydiving. I would love to hear a scene, a specific clip of relationship. And that could be simple as I go skydiving together, or something along the lines of when I say I'm going back to my hometown, the Netherlands, I'm already sharing about the Netherlands culture. I don't need to say more. So I can just use the one word and then you add it as well. Maybe your dog, it means the world to you, so the relationship, something along the lines that we get a little bit of the relationship piece as well. Does it resonate? Because now I'm kind of riffing.
Yes, I think it's just I'm trying to think of those ideas of what to put down and stuff. With the skydiving stuff, how you said, picking like one piece, give me an idea or an example. I guess the only reason I even brought up the skydiving part is because that was one area that, I feel is very common for a lot of people to be afraid of jumping out of a plane.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a really good way of kind of showing that I had that. Well, I didn't have the fear about jumping out of a plane out of a tandem because I'm like, I know I'm not doing anything, so I'm going to be okay. But the first time jumping by myself was very scary, but I did not focus on that. I just focused on like, just get it done, do it, make sure you're listening to everything. And then once I got that one done, then it was just about, okay, how do you get your license? Focus on that. Focus on what you need to know in terms of details. That I wanted to use that as an example of sometimes we can still have the fear lingering there, but if you are consistently focused on the result, you will see how quickly you're going to get past that fear.
Yeah.
That because usually like once you get past that fear, it gets exciting. The fear may not ever really go away, but you don't want it to go away. You always want it there because that's actually what kind of pushes you forward.
Okay, so this you might want to write down, like literally what you just said yourself, because the beauty of amazing keynotes, everything, is that you're really bringing people from one step to another, and not jump. So what you're sharing now is so perfect. You're saying, okay, basically what you first thought was, okay, and maybe you can just literally bring people along the journey, right? You grew up in fear and scarcity and pain. Well, there was something you really, really wanted. And then you can, for example, say, and for you, there was, and maybe you can even share that picture. Like, what was that dream in the beginning? Now, wherever you are, if that's scarcity or pain, can we all agree that we are fearful of something? That one thing that's currently holding you back, that one thought, that one jump, and then you create some pictures so people can start to associate. What is that for you? Well, fear is I've always had an interesting relationship with fear. I basically grew up in it. I thought that I was it. And then you go to your dad, like, then you go, so you introduce it a little bit where people feel, oh, this is about me. Oh, yeah, yeah. And then you start to tell the story, and then you can share. And in the scene of your first job, and you're like, it feels like this is it, or like, and then you can really share how you felt there and what thoughts you had. And maybe there was this tipping point where you thought, you know what, I'm flipping hamburgers all day, but the people that can buy it, they seem to have a more vibrant life than me, and they're eating burgers all day. Like, this cannot be the end, or something like this. So we really, really see it. We feel it. We're like, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, that's indeed. I can imagine that. And then you can have a little bit of revelation where you uncover, like, what if it's not about just doing it, but actually, just dreaming about it, but actually do it as well. And I start to figure out that it's not about blah, 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 and then you're sharing it. And then I bought this audio tip, and then there was this big guy. It's 20% skill set and 80% mindset. Now, who knows what I'm talking about, right? So now who knows who I'm talking about? Tony Robbins, yes, good one. So now you start to interact with the people. So now it becomes like, the loops that we talked about. So now you're looping people in every single aspect of the story by either letting them guess the next word, even though they know it, because the brain doesn't like incompletion, right? And then, for example, how you can do the skydiving. So now you accomplished all those things, and now I started to see, like, does this really, really work in all areas of your life? Because now I tested it on business. Maybe because you bring people from your work to business, and now you're sales, now you're doing the marketing. Oh my God, you're as COVID hits, right? I remember that story. I wrote it down. It was beautiful. Like, COVID hit, you got innovative, and everybody was asking for you. So now I was testing, does this work on other areas of my life? What right now? And now you're asking it to yourself, but you're asking it to the audience. What right now is actually my biggest fear? And in that moment, it was skydiving. Stepping into a plane, going 3,000 meters, I don't know, 4 kilometers above the ground. That's like the same from walking the whole Californian coast, or so now it becomes a picture. First attempt, but then all by myself, and I've never done it before. Like, what sound would you make? For me, it was like, ah! I mean, that would be Lori's style. You figure out how you want to do it. But you know what? Do you have a video of that?
Do I have a video?
Yeah.
My first one?
Or one?
Yeah, I have every single video.
That's so cool, because I don't think people will expect it, So,
Yeah.
and then it's like, but then,
It's not pretty. My first one's not pretty.
oh, but that's even better. That's even better. Yeah, we agree,
I
it's not that pretty, but I went for
do. Yeah, I have like one on Instagram where I show, because I have still visuals, and you see me kind of jumping out of the plane, and it's like a bunch of us, and it looks so cool. And I thought it'd be funny to show. I said, this is Instagram worthy, and I said, this is
Yes!
reality behind the picture, and
Yes!
see me tumbling.
Oh, it's so cool. Yes. And here I go. Well, that's the Instagram version. This is actually what happened. But I did go. And then a second one, a third one, 100th one. It's not the mindset, it's the skill set. And I would love to ask you that same question. What is your biggest fear? And if I would answer it right now, for myself, it would be public speaking. this was my first video. And then maybe we could even get a clip from our conversations where you were like, Lori, oh my God. Like, and now I'm standing here. Is it perfect? I'm sure it is not. But am I standing in? And who here got an insight? So now you're pre-framing like crazy. Who here got an insight? It's all about the skill set, it's all about the mindset, not the skill. And now you're including it in your talk. Now you share, is it perfect? Damn no. So now you lower the bar, you lower the resistance, because now you're sharing imperfection is perfection. So now you can never fail. So now you also don't need to be nervous for any keynote, because you're basically saying, because I'm imperfect, I'm sharing perfection, because that's the goal anyways of this talk.
I like that.
And then you say, who would love to dive into what's most fearful for you? I'm Jessica, and I help people just like you. And I help, maybe you can even like people who are willing to jump to the moon. So now you can play around with fun. Anyway, this is how my brain works. It's phenomenal, Jessica. It's phenomenal. You're a natural speaker. You truly are.
I get heard of that so many times, which is why I wanted to kind of like dive in more into better understanding that and seeing, because it is nice. It is nice to hear that and to now understand it, because I do see and I'm like, okay, you know what? When you're coming from your heart, it makes sense. You have a way of sharing stories that there's a lot of action, there's a lot, and it can resonate with a lot of people. Um, I think for me, it's just once again the analytical part. But now diving into the specifics of this, it really does help me get a clearer vision of, okay, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Which it helps a
Yeah.
lot.
I love this. And what I'm hearing from you is it's like the skills, like the consciousness of the skills really helps. And the community aspect also really does wonders, right?
The
So
community aspect definitely does wonders, because I mean, you can pretend like, oh, I got this on my own and everything, and I'm like, but that's just the ego mind, but we all have our fears, and we all have our own that we're trying to battle and get over. And having a community of people that are just supportive and there every step of the way, and also seeing the journey of other people and seeing their transformation. I think that's the other thing too. Like even seeing somebody like Jamie, from the first video she had, you know, she sounded so animated because I could tell she was going off a script. But now seeing her going on, and I'm like, wow, that's so beautiful. Just seeing how much she shifted, that it really does it's nice when you have a community, because it also shows you the people who are committed to doing the work, seeing
yes.
their progress, showing you that you're going to do the same, you're going to see the same level of progress. So this is why you keep going after it, because community also holds you kind of accountable too, when you start talking to people, which is kind of why I wanted to do this, because I'm like, I know I could push myself to do it, but I know that I'm going to sometimes not do the things that I should do. And when you have a community and you have people, and even you, where you challenge us every time and post your video, it just kind of like, pushes you, where even if you're busy, I think even the fact that I was busy and you saying, please make sure you share your video of, like, what was your aha moment or your breakthrough or whatever, like all of that just kind of forced me to step out of my comfort zone, because I would have easily been like, okay, let me schedule it. Let me be this, making sure I look okay. And I'm like, nope, I don't have time.
Yeah, that's
Do
good.
it.
That's good. And you see the results, don't you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
good. So
definitely.
good. Yes, and we're not finished. We're just moving
Yeah.
forward. And I'd love to see your next iteration. And then this week we're going to do the full practice rounds, right? So you're going to do your full talk in front of the group.
When is that this week?
Yes.
Or
So
next
this week is the practice round. Next week we'll actually record it on Riverside. I will show you how that's going to be. So you have like a little bit higher quality of recording, so you can use it for your whatever you want to use it for as well.
Okay.
You got it, girl.
Yeah, I guess I have to when is it today? When is it this week that we're doing that?
Thursday.
Thursday. What if I come across not still having the whole story put together? Like I have most of it. Am I just supposed to do like kind of what I did with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the goal
Okay.
is that you have a little bit of a deadline, because I know when you
Yeah, I know. It's
have
good
it
to have a deadline.
yeah, and if you have it in week 8, you're gonna freak out for yourself, and it's so not necessary. So the idea is to really do it for the group. So you will see full talks too, and you're like, whoa, that's interesting. Oh, that's how they did it. Because now you saw half of Richie's, right? Later you will see everything of everyone. So that's gonna help you to create it. So you're gonna inspire others, you get an inspiration, and the next one will be better.
Got
So
it.
what you
Okay.
just did for me was perfect. Now it will be even better. So I would love for you to record it before and upload it on the drive. And then you've done it another time, and then you're going to do it live again. So that's perfect.
Okay. Okay. And does it matter in terms of lighting and all that stuff right now?
No.
It's just more so of just doing the work when you're on
Yes.
camera.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Awesome. Yes.
You got it. You got it, girl. You're doing absolutely
My
amazing.
goal is gonna be Wednesday to upload the video that we're gonna use for this week. So really just kind of working on that because it's gonna be a busy week. So I don't think I'm gonna have time to make another one and another one. So hopefully what I'm gonna do is just practice to get the one Wednesday that will be good enough to use for Thursday.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And please upload this video as well on the drive. So you have
Oh,
everything
okay.
in one place.
Okay.
That's the
Perfect.
nicest thing, because then you can see your development in chronological order as well.
Yeah, and we get to keep access to all of this after we're done with our training? Yeah? Oh, awesome, good. That was
Yes.
my little fear. Where do I upload? So I'm in your portal. I see public speaking, transformational speaking blueprint, and speaking community.
I added the drive link to your to the chat here. It's also added on resources, I believe, in the portal. But I just send it to you as well in the Zoom chat.
Okay, got it. And you said it's under resources. I don't see resources in the portal. Do I go to setting? No.
Let me check.
Let me show you real quick.
Oh, that's easier, yeah.
So this is my portal.
Super. Then you want to go to the left one.
Right here?
No, the Speaking Academy. So yeah, that one.
Oh,
And
resources right here.
yeah, there you go. And then upload your practice video to Drive.
Okay. So this is all for Speaker Academy. Is this just extra stuff you included?
Let me see. Yeah, so the blueprint, if you click on it, that is basically the course.
Oh, okay.
So that is everything we talked about already, but then in smaller clips, completely explained like extremely. So if you want to look up a specific part, you can easily find the place. And the community is, if you would click on that, that would be the replays of the community calls.
Ah, okay, got it, got it. Okay. And we get to, and that will stay in our hub.
Yes. So the community calls, they will stay as long as the Public Speaking Academy goes. And all the like the blueprint and stuff, it will stay until, you can just watch it.
Okay, cool. I like that. Awesome.
Yeah, we're figuring out like the specificities. We're actually really like redesigning like 3 steps for people to come in. So when people want to come in, it's very clear which level they are, which program fits, and how you can improve through the community. So that's
Yeah.
literally developed right now. So maybe stuff changes a little bit, but you got access to it, so no worries.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm excited to get working on it.
Yes, cannot wait to see it.
All
Well
right.
done.
Cool. All right. Thank
Alrighty,
you.
have a good day. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.